An entrepreneur is someone who jumps off a cliff and builds the plane on the way down. That's a quote by successful entrepreneur Reid Hoffman, who was one of the founders of PayPal and then created LinkedIn. So this guy's worth nearly $2 billion. And even he understands the fact that every time you're starting a business, you are starting from the top of a cliff and jumping off. This topic that I'm going to talk about today is from a listener. So let's check it. All right, I'm going to answer Dwight Norris's question. He's an audience member, and he popped this in because he's kind of struggling with starting. He's struggling with that leaping off the cliff and building the plane on the way down. And I want to tell you this right before I even get into this question. There's no such thing as 7 easy steps to building a business. So you're not going to get that. I'm not going to have a title. I'm not going to have this thing titled or a thumbnail that's like, hey, 7 easy steps to become a world-class entrepreneur, because it doesn't exist. You don't have plans to the plane. You are just leaping and trying to build a plane from your knowledge of what planes look like on the outside. You have never been an entrepreneur before. You look at other businesses and go, oh, I think I know what they look like. But that's all from the outside. You have no idea what the inner workings of a business is. You have no idea what the inner workings of a plane are. So you're going to leap and you're going to be falling. It's going to be scary as hell, and you're going to be busy just assembling a plane and hoping that you get it done and it works before you hit the bottom. All right, we're going to get right into Dwight's question. Hey Tim, I had some questions for you around the area of getting your first client without being an expert yet. You did mention in this video, is a Q&A video, you are against people starting agencies with no experience. You also mentioned that we need to go through the iterative process of doing the work ourselves to know we can get a customer a result. I'm continually building my niche website and plan to use it as evidence to show I can get a result, which will give me authority. However, like I already knew, it's taking a long time. I honestly am not sure what a result is that will invoke trust from potential clients. I don't feel I have any real results like what I am thinking for my website. I don't feel like I should be trying to get clients if I haven't gotten the result. Is this good or bad thinking? Should I focus on becoming an expert in digital marketing analytics until I get results for myself? Should I try to provide services for things I can do, blog creation, diagnosis, strategy? Sorry, I'm just a little lost, and the market likes that I am an active participant in the niche, but don't have any reason to believe that I can help them do anything. All right, so this is that issue. Dwight's at the top of the cliff. I'm going to make some assumptions here about Dwight's situation, and they may be correct or not, but I'm basing it on 20 years of working with entrepreneurs and the fears that they go through. So one of the issues we've got here is that we have someone who's trying to build a plane while still on the cliff. And this is really difficult to do because you're trying to climb down the cliff and figuring out like, hey, if I climb down the cliff, I'm not going to risk anything. It's not scary, and I don't have to jump and then build the plane. I can build it on the way, just climbing down, and then I can build the plane and then take off. Well, it never works that way. As you're trying to build the plane, you're going to learn some skills and build up some stuff, but every time you actually go to launch, you leap off the cliff and then you realize, oh, I don't actually have a working plane. It's something that is always that way. Same with Reid Hoffman. He'd already had a massive success with PayPal, and then still leapt off a cliff and built LinkedIn on the way down. We all face it every time we start something brand new, stuff that we just don't have any real expertise in, any real authority in. But we rely on our experiences, we rely on the knowledge that we're gaining, and ultimately our courage, the courage to leap and trust that we have the wherewithal, the ability to actually build a plane without having any idea how it's done before we hit the bottom. So before you decide, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, ask yourself, do I have what it takes? Do I have what it takes to be able to make that leap? Unlike jumping off of a real cliff, it won't kill you. You might be broke, you might be destitute, you might be living on the street, unlikely, but you might. You might find that you spend all your money. I've been flat busted twice in my career, at the beginning and at the middle of my career. Figured if it was worth screwing up once, it was worth screwing up twice. But I came back from both of those setbacks, learned my lessons, learned what I needed to know about building a business, about building financial wealth, and turned that into success. I turned it into a life that I love and a life that I hope to continue doing for the next 30, 40, 50 years, depending on how long I still got on this planet. You're going to face risking it all. You're going to face risking all your money. You're going to risk facing losing all the respect that people have for you. You might start something and get so embarrassed about your failures, but you took a chance, and that's what all entrepreneurs have to do. They have to take that risk. So there is no such thing as today I'm not an expert, tomorrow I am. Expertise is a gradient. You start off as a novice. You don't know jack all, but you're learning. You're trying to put effort into gaining experience and knowledge, and then maybe you become an apprentice. All right, before I even go into more of this, I really need to stress, getting a job ain't a bad thing. That's what I talk about. Is like, you shouldn't start an agency without skills. Like, you should not go into one saying, oh, I'm going to solve some problem without any skills. You need to acquire those skills as quickly as you possibly can if you want to start a business. I've got a video, I'll link to it in the comments below, where I talk about how to become an expert, a real expert, in 90 days or less. But it's hard. I did it. Other people I know have done it. It is difficult, but it is possible. So you can get the basic knowledge you need to do most things an agency does. Okay, now back to the expert gradient. So we've become an apprentice, we've learned something, we've put skills to real world tests. Maybe we start moving into journeyman level. Journeyman level can do great work. From like a beginning journeyman, when you finally pass into journeyman status, and this goes back to old medieval guild stuff, right? An old guild journeyman would be able to build a chair, and it would be a very nice chair. Maybe almost as good as a master's chair. That's what you need to be striving for in the building of your business. Getting better and better at the necessary skills that are needed inside of an agency, which are whatever problem you're solving in your agency, and it will take a while before you are a journeyman at it. But while you're on that journey, you can be making money. Here's the thing about making money when you're not truly an expert, not truly an authority yet. You make promises you can keep. So if you take someone's money and then you try to give them the result you promised them, if you cannot, if you're unable to do it, you try and you put everything you got into it, maybe you end up just losing money and time and effort, and then you still have to give that client their money back because you just couldn't get the result. Having that level of integrity is what you need to have to be able to actually launch a business, to be able to go, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk my livelihood. I'm going to risk being able to pay the electric bill. I'm going to risk being able to eat this week, because if I can't get the result for this client, I'm going to give them their money back. Do that. With that level of integrity in the beginning of your career, you'll build your reputation as being an authority. Then you will build your reputation as being an expert, because you will have work that you can show over and over and over again. I said I could do it, and I did it. In the rare cases that I could not actually achieve the result my client was after, I gave them their money back. That level of integrity will build your business. So this response to Dwight and to you watching has all been about having the courage to just step out and become an expert. If you need to get a job, go get a job so you can gain your skills. If you can teach yourself on the side while you're working. A good friend of mine, he was making $100,000 a year in his business, had a family, had young kids. He continued to work until his side hustle, his business that he was building, was producing $100,000 a year. That's what he needed to feel secure in being able to make that leap, to jump off that cliff, because he had essentially the wings built of his plane, and he leapt, and then he started building the rest of the plane on the way down. Me, man, I just went for it. I just said, screw this. This is what I want out of life. And I just jumped and I just started building, and I crashed twice in my career, but I always got back at the top of that cliff and jumped again. And I built on the way. So look inside yourself. Do you have that? Do you have that courage? If you do, leap. If you don't, build up what you need until you do have the courage. It might take you 5 years. It might take you 10 years. But here's something I tell my daughter all the time. The time is going to pass anyway. So instead of waiting 5 years, instead of waiting 10 years, start building those skills today. You might not be able to quit your job over the next 5 or 10 years. Unlikely. You'll probably be able to do it in under a year. But let's just say it's going to take years. The time will pass anyway. So build up your skills and then leap. I hope you found this video encouraging. I really do want you to succeed. I want you to leap off that cliff, build your plane, and soar. I would love to see that. And please, come back here and comment. Tell me your progress. I want to hear how Dwight's progressing. I want to hear about his leap. I want to hear those things. I want to participate in helping you achieve that. So, if you got value from this, if you got a little bit of inspiration, please like, subscribe, share, do all the socials, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, we're done.